Okay, there is a healing power to this evening, and as I would have mentioned at other times, sometimes there's a energy, there's a freedom, there's a frequency of love and light that could work with the body more fully if we knew how to work with some original power of love and light that's within the body from the very beginning of life. And I will refer to this as divine love or divine light, but mostly I'll refer to it as divine Ma. And divine Ma is an easy term to remember because it's divine, but Ma is of course short for mother, but it's also short for the movement and the sound ah in the body. It has a lot to do with the healing nature of love that's one with children, one with anything that feels significantly alive. It could be a tortoise, it could be an insect, anything with life within it. But for our purposes, what I'd like to do is to mention that the only reason that I would ever bring up something like this, divine Ma, in association to the heart, the human heart, the divine heart, is because it's essential to know how to work with love within the body. The body is what accentuates love through all kinds of ways that we might recognize. It could be through someone lending a hand when someone is having a hard time bringing in groceries, or it could be any way that we express love through gestures. But I want to talk about those kinds of love, not so much now, but to know that there are the smallest ways of conveying love that can be meaningful. But when we do this kind of experience, as we do sometimes in our groups, in our sessions, I might mention love in ways that you already completely have gathered how it works in your life, in your experience every day. But the only way that I feel I can convey how deep this relationship of love is within every human is to understand that we are so one with humanity, with each other, that if we were to learn how to love much more deeply from what I call our root system, or some aspect of our thought process, we can have such a huge impact, not only, but we're here to release old stories as we call upon or as we request this divine love, which I will come back again to the term divine Ma. But for many people, they would think of this divine Ma as divine mother, or someone else might not use a term like that at all and just think of, wow, those people that helped me in the hospital, they were so maternal. They were so amazing in how they greeted me and made me feel so much better right away. So there are many versions of what divine Ma could be. The only other way that I would mention this divine Ma now is that we have many people that are not only supporting each other through all kinds of processes and how to move forward in life when there are not only challenges, but huge mountains to climb, so to speak. There are people who are turning into their own process of love more deeply than they might have ever done. And it's not only the women, but it's the men who also have that divine Ma power, that divine Ma presence. And if we knew how to work with that much love without any instruction, without any way shower to tell us, well, this is what has to happen to help this person feel better. It's this automatic way that instead of being driven to help people, we are automatically working with people from that depth of love that knows exactly how to help, that knows exactly where to go to find another person who could create even more support, that is not only trained or specialized in some way to support another person, but actually could bring a whole group of people to create some more support. Now, this is not only to do with health or caregivers. It has to do with people who are just alone. How do we support people from the depth of who we are? How do we support people from the depth of the power of love that lives within? It's not something we have to configure or plan. Sometimes we don't have time to do that anyway. We're just spontaneous. But the power of this love that I mentioned as divine Ma, it's one with the body. It's one with, I want to say it's almost like it's one with the woodwork. It's one with the trees, right? And it's something so distinctively different than what many have referred to as love, because we've left out the power of love that's instilled within the earth. We have left out the significant treasure of what was created when the earth came into form. And we have not been taught that. We have been taught this is what you do to be loving, or this is what you do to support friends. But that deep power of love has something in it that's so strong that it couldn't inflict any process upon another that would feel less than loving. It would have to feel loving in order for it to move forward. Whatever the person did or whatever the cause and effect, the only result would be deeper love. The only result of anything would be deeper love presence. So what I'm going to ask now is if you could reflect upon this concept, anyone who's listening to this, who would that person be in your life right now? Who would that person be that has such deep love and such reverence for every human being that that love would just take form immediately in some alternative way of creating support? But I want to mention this too. Sometimes the best way to support another is to say, let's go enjoy doing something different. Let's go to another area of life. Let's go on a trip. Let's go somewhere new. And I'm saying that very directly because so many of us have not been going anywhere during COVID, but it has to do with the love that would generate so much influence that something would shift. There would be some new way of experiencing life. And that person would automatically know that that person who was left behind before or couldn't get out would be brought through almost another doorway of living life, at least temporarily, in a different way. So it's about being spontaneously turned on to love without thinking, without thoughts, without have-tos or shoulds. And if there was another way to express this, then I'm expressing it now. I think it's always a great idea to understand why children are so automatically in that protocol. And it's, of course, we always know there are exceptions. They have moods like adults do, but it mostly is true. The younger the child, the more true it is. The power of love is turned on most of the time. And it's not only because of the purity of the child that they haven't experienced life in certain ways yet, but it has to do with the fact that it has never been turned off. It's like they are one with the power of love when they're born. They know how to open up fully. They treasure all the people that are in their environment most of the time. And it does not matter what happened 10 minutes ago. They're back on. They're back onto the love. They're back onto the frequency of love. And that's what we've turned off over time. So if there's a way for me to present this concept better, it might happen 2 years from now, because I'm learning as I go how much power there is in this presence of love and oneness with what I call the soul of the earth, the soul of who we are as at the beginning as children, but who we become as adults. How do we create that presence again? How do we open up to more of that? I want to call it the glory of what it can mean to be human. Where did that go? How can we get it back? So the only way I would speak about this on this night would probably be check out your own experience. What is it you've been doing to experience love from day to day? Is there anything that you've experienced that would be foolproof? Do you have that power of love turned on all the time? Why would anyone have it turned on all the time in this world, right? What is going on that would make one want to stay open to love? If we're afraid to know love, it's because we've had experiences that have done that. But if we're afraid to stay closed because we're not that happy, then we're caught somewhere in the middle. So the idea of this oneness with love and the earth as a healing source is key. And the only way that I've learned I can create that for others is to ask people to, number one, sound off. If life is not going too well, let it rip. Speak about it. Open up. It's not that anyone can pretend that love is happening all the time. But the more we let our own voices resonate with truth, speaking what's working and what isn't, the more the heart can start to open as a door, or, it's like we've at least put the key in so we can start to express more genuine, I want to call it authority over yourself, authority over myself. How do I express myself with any amount of authority? I have to begin somewhere. So what happened today? Let me talk about that. What happened last night? Someone knocked the lamp over or something. It was a precious lamp. Whatever it is, speak about it. And then see, what is it that I need to do today to reinvent love? And the way that I would say tonight, as I provide this talk, is there's nothing that I need to do to begin again except to call upon it, to call upon the power of love to take over. And if it doesn't seem to happen too well, do it again. And there are other ways that we can create that opening for the heart. The promises of love are not always fulfilled when things are going, when things are off kilter or things have been turned upside down during some of the issues we've been experiencing as a society and as a world. But there's nothing that we need to do that's different than what we've been doing if we get up every day and we take time to do what we need to do to resonate with our own thinking, and we just move forward in whatever the plans were, have a little recreation, a little party time, whatever it is. But there's still a way to move into something more than just what we've done for some amount of joy. And it begins with love. It begins with the heart. And if there's a way you already find that every day through prayers or meditation or something that's part of a practice for you, always create what works for you. Always go back to what works for you. But there's always more, is my point. There's always more deep power in love. It can be found anytime, anywhere, through yourself, and sometimes through another. So if we wanted to bring more love into this day, I would say, let's begin doing more of what already works. But let's go back to what we've been talking about a lot lately that may have made myself, yourself, someone you know, unhappy. Is that working to bring more love, or is it creating more between myself or yourself and another. There is an idea that we need to vent, we need to express what's true, what's honest, and then we can release it and then move on to the power of requesting more love in every day. And that means it's not only for oneself, but it's for others. But it's nothing we have to plan. It's nothing that we can make up. It just happens more and more energetically so that others can feel it. They can feel it when they walk in the room or when you say hello. And if that doesn't work every day, perfect. Do something else that brings you more upliftment and healing in whatever has been going wrong. So if there is something more to say about this idea of Divine Ma, I would probably speak about it another time. But for now, I'm going to create another thread that has to do with Divine Ma. And that has to do with the power of what it can mean to be divinely human. When we're talking about new ideas for a new society or a more happy continent, whatever it is that's an ideal for oneself or one's family or one's town, what we can start to do is to move forward in more healing first from within ourselves. There are many of us who wish we could have certain circumstances more quickly to have a happier society. And yet we're not so sure how that works except for one person to make that huge difference for everyone, right? Or a government. The only way we can do more for ourselves and have it impact others is to go deep, to go deeply within the self and see what's in there that's unhappy. Where is that coming from? How can I move forward with more healing energy for myself? What's the matter? What happened? Why can't I find joy? Why can't I find more love? And that is where it needs to begin for all of us. Or it may continue from wherever you are now. There are many people who are extremely uplifting, extremely helpful. And we see them in many ways every day if we look for them. But it doesn't mean that we need to be that one. What if it's a time when I'm dragging behind a lot of people who are very happy? I just can't get it together. That's when we ask for the power of oneness and love to do not only magic, but miracles in our life. So I don't want to go too much into this now, but I just want to convey that each of us contribute towards the massive amount of healing, light, and love that can be part of a culture or a country. And of course, this could sound not so easy, but we have to start somewhere. And I think that's where we all are ready to take more responsibility at this time to see what else we can do to deepen the power of love so it's not such a struggle, so that it is an automatic experience.